I made a feature for $10,000 that got distributed by a distribution company onto streaming platforms and is now available on Tubi and a number of other platforms. And here's how I did it. First, we're gonna talk about how I got the funds, because that's the number one question everybody has, how to actually get funding. Well, when you're dealing with a budget of $10,000, that's considered no budget. I know it sounds like a lot, but low budget is $250,000, is $100,000 is about the bare minimum for a low budget. $250,000 is low budget. Below that, when you're talking $10,000, $25,000, $50,000, this is no budget. And the reason for that, I know that to many people watching this and to myself, $10,000 sounds like a lot of money, but when you're making a movie, when you're making a feature, it doesn't go very far. But you still got to come up with that somehow. So here's how I did it. I'm a big believer in a community, in a team. I built a team of people that were there to work with each other on each other's things. And 99% of success is just showing up. So what I did was I showed up. I helped other people with their projects. In 2016, we made a short film proof of concept version of this feature that spent a year in film festivals, gaining laurels, doing all of that. And I started building my team there, and I added people to my team as I went, and I helped them with their things, and I helped other people and connections and brought people together. And then we went on to make other projects, and I helped them with their projects, and we made a whole bunch of stuff. And then 2019 came around, and I had the script for the feature, and we were all just so excited and wanting to make this movie, and we all believed in this movie, and we all just wanted to get a feature made. So what we did was we self-funded. Now the beautiful thing about self-funding is you're your own boss. You don't have to answer to a studio head. You don't have to answer to a production house. You don't have anyone telling you what you can and can't do. There's no gatekeepers. You don't have to wait for a green light. Self-funding means you're your own boss. You can do literally whatever you want. No, I did not pull $10,000 out of my own bank account. What we did was we had this team that we all wanted to make this movie, so we all pitched in together whatever we could into one big pot. Some of us only contributed a couple of hundred, while others contributed a couple of thousand. But all together, everyone contributed what they could, but all together, we got to a budget of $10,000, and that was our budget. And we had no one to answer to. We were just in charge of doing it ourselves. And because I had built this team, everyone who contributed money to the pot trusted me to just take that and make the best movie that we could make. And then they came on and were a part of it, and everybody just brought their A game to making the best possible movie that we could make for $10,000. Now, that's how we got the money. The more important thing is what we did with the money, because like I said before, $10,000 is not a lot of money. The first thing to consider when doing a movie on that scale is the script, the story. When it starts in development, you gotta know what kind of budget you're gonna be dealing with. Then you can develop your story and write your script to suit that budget. Now what that means is, on $10,000, you're not gonna do crazy car chases, you're not gonna do heavy CG action set pieces, you're not gonna go to outer space, you're not gonna do anything crazy. You're gonna be grounded, and you're gonna be limited to whatever resources you have available to you. So for example, what locations did I have that I knew that I had access to already? Well, like my father-in-law was very gracious enough to let me and my film crew take over his house for 10 weekends. So we had a house we can film in. Through other connections, I had access to an office space that had a long conference room that had a long table in it that could serve as a dining room table for a large dinner party. And so I had a house and I had a dining room. And so the best way, I had to come up with the best story that I could tell limited to that house. And I knew I wanted to do that murder mystery, so I wrote the script for Who Dun 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 It, the movie, and I set it in that house, and I took its limitations of we can't really go anywhere besides this house, and I turned that into jokes in the film and made it part of the movie. And so the basic premise of the movie, which came about largely because of the budget limitations, but also because I thought it would be really funny, that was kind of the impetus for the whole movie in general, was what if we took a movie like Clue, like a murder mystery, an Agatha Christie style murder mystery that traditionally takes place in an 18-bedroom mansion in the middle of nowhere, and we set it in modern day in a middle-class suburban house with 3 bedrooms and 2 stories, and we put it in the middle of a residential neighborhood on a bright sunny day when you're not going to have bad weather disrupting your phone lines. Okay, there's the premise. Now, everyone's trapped in the house because we can't, for budgetary reasons, we can't go anywhere else. So we work in reasons why they can't leave. There's always a reason why the characters can't just leave the house and go next door and ask for help. For example, now it works for this script, this kind of joke, because it's meta, it's self-referential, it breaks that fourth wall pretty hard. So for example, there's a scene where they're running through the house and the guy goes to open the door and there's a green screen there.
We can't go that way.
What?
We can't go that way.
Why not?
It's not there.
What in heaven's name do you mean?
The outside is gone.
How could the outside be gone?
Oh, no! Ladies and gentlemen, it appears that we've exhausted our special effects budget. Therefore, we no longer have it outside.
I know we can't leave, so we're gonna work that we can't leave into the script as a joke and make fun of ourselves. This is the kind of thinking that you have to, work on to budget for, to plan for your budget and within your constraints. You got to start thinking creatively. Now, calling it out like that isn't going to work for every script. It worked for mine because it was that kind of comedy, but it's not going to work for everyone. So the trick here is figure out what works for you and how you can tell the best story that you can within the resources you have available. What locations do you have available to you right now that you have access to? Write something to take place there because you can't afford to pay for other locations. Now that you've got your script and you're ready to start moving, here's where it's gonna get potentially more challenging. You have to kind of champion the film yourself. You have to be the reason the film exists. You have to force it into existence. I always say that filmmaking is the truest form of alchemy that exists in the modern world. You are literally creating something out of nothing, which is one of the hardest things to do. And so you have to want it so bad that you have to want it to exist so bad that you literally will it into existence. You can't live with it not existing. And that means you have to force it into existence. Now, what I mean by that is you're gonna have to do the bulk of the work yourself. Years ago, I went to a taping of Hollywood Babylon podcast with Kevin Smith and Ralph Garman, and I got the best advice from Kevin Smith that I'm ever going to get ever, and I pass this on to anyone and everyone, and I attribute it to Kevin Smith. His great advice, and I'm going to share it with you. What he said was, if you want to get a movie made, make it yourself, because the cavalry is not coming. No one's going to make your movie for you. No one's going to give you money to make it. You just have to make it. And if you don't make it, it won't get made. So in my case, I started filmmaking in 2009, and consistently I made things and I developed my skills. In 2009, I started a YouTube channel, and up until 2015, I uploaded a new video to that YouTube channel every week. And it was all scripted, it was all comedy, it was me doing everything, setting up the camera, the lights, shooting the script. I would set up the camera, jump out in front, shoot the script, much like this, and then edit and upload, but it was all scripted comedy. And my challenge to myself was every week I would make a video better than the previous week. And if you go back and look at that channel and you look at the first few videos on it, they are cringe, they are terrible. But as time goes on, they start getting better and better, and eventually they start getting pretty good. What are you doing? Running around the house with a gun? Why? Because there could be bad guys. You're running around the house with a real gun? What in the world's the matter with you? Who in the right mind does that? And I'm very proud of a lot of the videos that I've made on that channel. They're all pointless, silly comedy, but I was developing my skills and some of them got pretty good. The point I'm making here is if you have a movie script that you are in love with and you really want to get made, my advice, set it aside. Unless you like can do it, unless you have the skills to do it yourself. If this is the first, don't let that script be the first thing that you make. Set it aside, practice first on something that is less important to you. That way you can develop your skills. That way you can get better at what you're doing, because the first thing you make is not going to be good. It's going to take some experience of making things before you start to get good. And then once you've made something else and you've practiced on something else and you've developed your skills, then go back to this script, then start working on this feature. And I say that because you're going to have to do a lot of the work yourself. For me, I wrote the script, I was producer, I was director, I was editor, and I was the colorist. And those are just the things I was credited for. On set, I did so much more. I did whatever had to be done that no one else was doing because it had to be done. And that's the other thing is don't be so proud as, oh, I'm the director, I can't do whatever else. Forget that. Put your pride aside and get done what has to get done. If that means you're restocking the craft services table or you're holding the slate or whatever, if it's got to get done, it's got to get done. I did so many jobs on set because they needed to get done that I didn't care. I didn't care if I got credited for it, just needed to get done. I stocked the craft service table. I did the slate board. There might have even been a time where I was holding the boom. Like whatever has to get done, has to get done. There's a film festival and I can't remember which one it is, but I love this. They have what they call the Dunce Award, which they give to any filmmaker that did more than 5 jobs on their film. And I could have won that award like 3 times over on the production of my feature, but I don't care. I had to get it done. And that's what I'm trying to tell you is that as the champion of this film, you're gonna have to do the bulk of the work, the lion's share of the work. You're gonna have to write the script, you're gonna have to direct, you're gonna have to shoot, edit, whatever you don't have a team member doing, you're gonna have to do yourself. And you can't really afford to pay people. So if you don't have a team that also just wants to be a part of it, then you're just gonna have to do the job yourself. So my suggestion is develop your skills, get to a point where you're confident that you can do it, and then do it. So by the time we were actually in production in late 2021, I had been making things for 12 years. Not just the YouTube channel, but short films, music videos, whatever I could do. And I started in 2015 freelancing, helping other people, doing commercial work, working on other people's shorts. I would go and help anybody that I can to help them with their project, A, so that I could develop my skills more, and B, so that I could then in turn ask them to come and help on my project. So by the time we were in production, I had been doing it so long that I was nothing but confident in my own abilities based on experience that I could lead and champion this film, this feature, all the way through production and then through post-production. As a result, we took 20 days to shoot and then I took 4 months to edit, and then I took another 3 months to color grade, and my sound designer. And that's the other thing, real quick, side note, developing your skills and getting to the point where you are confident in what you're doing, you also know where you're strong and where you're weak. And so it helps to build a team of people who are strong where you're weak. And I know, while I can mix audio, it's not my strongest suit. It's not where I am the strongest. So it helped me to bring on someone who is a sound mixer who could do it. And because he was also the AD, and I owe so much to Adam thank you if you're watching this, Adam, by the way, I owe so much to him for scheduling the film. Oh my gosh, I'll get back to that in a second, but he was a lifesaver in scheduling the film. And he came in and he mixed the sound for it, which I also was super grateful because that's where I'm weak in the post-production process. And I know that, and I can admit that because of years of experience, which I'm recommending that you get for yourself. So anyways, the point is, learn how to do what needs to be done, or hire someone that knows how to do it with some of the limited funds that you have. It's better to learn it yourself, I think, but you gotta do what you gotta do to get your movie made. Now, as much as I did so many things on the film myself, the other half of this is recognizing that filmmaking is not a one-person job. It's not a one-man band. You cannot physically do it all yourself. At the bare minimum, you need an actor in front of the camera while you're behind the camera, but even that is, like, you're not gonna get anywhere. Like, what you really need is a crew, is a cast. You cannot do it by yourself, so it helps to build a team of people who are bringing their own unique strengths to the table, not just everyone that's a writer-director. Like, you need to bring in whoever you can, actors, cinematographers, you know, whatever you can bring in, because there are so many jobs on a film set, and you can't do, like, you physically can't do every job yourself, and you shouldn't try to. There's so much that needs to be done. It's such a lifesaver to network and build a group and build a team. And if you don't have a team, find a team to be a part of. Find a network, find a filmmaking group somewhere. I promise you, somewhere you can find, even if you go online, somewhere find people to network with and work with and build your team, and then bring them in. Everyone that worked on Whodunit, they were so invested in making the best movie that they can, that they jumped in and brought their A game and gave it their all. I know that I could not have done it without the help of all of these people. Now, that all being said, everybody that worked on it, they were pretty much donating their time. They did not get paid up front because they just wanted to be a part of it, because they believed in me and what I was doing. And so that's what you need to do. You need to build a team of people who believe in you and your project and just want to be a part of it. So much so that they're willing to just give you their time without getting paid up front. With the money that you do have, I do recommend some positions that you pay.